Let me tell you how it really went down. How I found out my so-called private road wasn't so private anymore. Not if the HOA president had her way. The sun wasn't even up good when I saw that orange notice zip tied to the sign I'd hammered in myself: private road, block letters, nothing fancy. The air was cold enough to bite, and my hands were wrapped around a paper cup of coffee, hoping for a little warmth, but instead I got a jolt of something else entirely. HOA authority applies to this road. You ever see something so bold and wrong you have to laugh before you get mad? Yeah, that happened. Victoria Peton, HOA president, didn't bother hiding. She marched up with her fancy coat and perfect hair, clipboard glued to her arm like she'd been born holding it. She didn't even look at the coffee in my hand, just straight at my face, that polite mask, not fooling anybody. "Welcome to Maple Ridge Estates," she said, "all sugar and steel. Congratulations on your inheritance." The way she said it made me want to wash my ears out. I told her, right then, this road isn't the HOA's. She smiled like she was talking to a slow child. This road falls under HOA authority. Her tone was flat, rehearsed. Not a maybe in sight. Not a single "let's discuss." She just stood there, all posture and perfume, telling me gravity applies and so does she. Now, the only thing I had in my corner was the recorded Titlia deed with stamps and signatures, sitting in my folder home. My uncle left it to me in his will, the road and the house at the end of it, and I'd barely had time to settle in before Victoria came knocking. I tried reason, asked her why she'd waited until the inheritance went through. She didn't blink. "I saw an access issue that needed to be resolved," she said, like my uncle never happened, like history started when she showed up. I got tired of words real quick and snapped a photo of the notice, my private road sign in the frame, just to remind myself what reality looked like. Victoria didn't flinch. "Photographs won't change authority." "Maybe not," I said, "but they change what you could deny later." She promised fines, certified letters, and attorney threats like she was reading from script. "Tell your attorney to read the recorded title," I said. She smiled, polite, sharp, a little too smooth. "We already have." She walked off like she owned the ground under her feet, tossing 14 days over her shoulder. I stood there at the curb, coffee cold, orange notice flapping in the wind, and I'll tell you, anger has a way of making you see things sharp. Nobody had asked, they just claimed. That night, the doorbell rang just after dinner, the sound already hinting at trouble. There was an envelope, stiff, with that same return address: Maple Ridge Estates, Homeowners Association. Official, threatening, certified mail, stamped in red like they'd already won the argument. The letter inside listed violations: unauthorized signage, unauthorized access, failure to submit road use docs, and my favorite assumed HOA authority. I stared at those words, chewing them over like gristle, when someone knocked on my back door. 3 solid raps: Tom Kowalski, 2 houses down. Retired state trooper, built like he bench-pressed Buicks for fun. He never knocked for permission, just walked in, eyes already on the letter. "You got it," he said. "You too?" I asked. "No, but I heard Victoria running her mouth. Figured you'd get something official." He took the letter and read it slow, tapping his thick finger at that same line. Assumed HOA authority. He let out this low sound, half warning, half disgust. "They're not pretending it's up for discussion. They write it like it's already law, so you'll treat it like it is." I told him it was my road, recorded with the county. Tom just nodded, like that was the only answer that mattered. He pointed out the word assumed. "Not confidence, that's a tell," he said. "Real authority doesn't have to assume. It's documented, cited, referenced." The HOA was bluffing, trying to claim power by writing it down first and daring me to say otherwise. My daughter, pencils and homework spread out, asked if they could do that. Tom didn't sugarcoat. "They can try." "I didn't want a war," I said. Tom just shrugged. "Jake, it's already a war to her. You just didn't enlist." A laughed, tired, humorless sound. "I wire houses for a living. I don't speak covenants." Tom smiled just a little. Same principle. Somebody runs a line where it doesn't belong. You trace it back to the source. That night, I pulled out the estate folder deed, surveys, receipts, all of it, spread them on the table under the kitchen lights. Old paper, county seals, legalese written back when folks trusted records to outlast opinions. But I knew, even then, Victoria would talk over all of it if she could. Outdated, open to interpretation, whatever suited her story. Next day, Tom called. The county has the original record. Stamped, logged, no room to argue. Clerk's office opens at 9. That was the plan records, clean ones, county ones. Power hates recorded facts. At the county clerk's, it smelled like every decision ever made: paper, ink, fluorescent light. Tom led the way. The clerk found the folder thick, old, but the ink was crisp. She pulled out the page. Here it is. Recorded easement and road designation. There was private road. HOA authority, plain as the sunrise. Black ink, county seal, no drama. Then, out of nowhere, Cynthia Walsh, the HOA secretary, showed up. Quiet woman, never in a fight if she could help it. She looked at the record, shoulders dropping, like a weight finally had a place to land. Victoria knew, she whispered. The board's had this before. Most people don't come here. They see a letterhead and fold. Tom spoke up, but the record doesn't fold. Cynthia leaned in. There's a hearing next week. Victoria wanted a room full of neighbors to watch her do it again, only this time with me holding the county's record in my hand. The night of the hearing, the clubhouse was packed: neighbors, a camera crew, people crammed into folding chairs, everyone tense. Victoria called the meeting to order, her voice confident, rehearsed, final. The association has authority over access ways connected to the community. I stood. Let's read the recorded title. Bill Harper, the old insurance adjuster, put it up on the projector. Black text, county seal, private road, HOA authority. A hush fell. Victoria tried to talk around it. Context is the county, I said. A neighbor asked if the HOA ever had authority. Bill answered, according to the county record, no. Victoria pressed on, accusing me of hiding the record. I didn't hide anything. I inherited a road. You put a notice on it. I went to the county. Tom chimed in. What's irregular is claiming authority without a record. Questions flew. Why were fines issued? Why the notices? Victoria said they acted in good faith. I said, ink beats intimidation. The room was shifting, neighbors leaning forward, not back. The truth was doing its work. Then Cynthia stood, envelope in hand. I keep the minutes, she said. There is never a vote on authority over Mr. Morrison's road. Not ever. She laid 5 years' worth of minutes on the table. No vote, no approval, no record. Bill clicked to a timeline notice posted. Fines threatened, all before any board action. People started connecting the dots. Victoria's face was white. Someone called for a motion to remove the president. Ballots moved hand to hand, silent, deliberate. The count was clear. Victoria was out. Cynthia took the chair, steady as you please. First order of business, publish a jurisdiction map, mark boundaries, make it official, make it public. No more notices without verified authority, no more fines without votes. The red light on the camera clicked off. The meeting ended, and the night air felt lighter. The next morning, the post office bulletin board had new map HOA boundaries in color. My private road, clearly outside. Tom joined me, coffee in hand. Looks official, he said. Funny how clarity calms people down. Cynthia stopped by my house with a folder of their cases where authority had been assumed. Minor things, people who'd paid fines they never owed. Transparency isn't optional anymore, she said. I sat at the kitchen table, listening to the house settle. The fight was over, but the work wasn't. That felt right. Sunday morning, I walked my road at sunrise, boots crunching on gravel, the air sharp and clean. At the entrance, a new metal sign, private road. Respect the recorded title. No warnings, no trus. Neighbors waved, relaxed, their dogs' tags jingling. Someone said, "Looks official." "It is," I replied. Further down, a group was talking about board updates, maps, minutes, transparency. "Most of us would have paid the fine and moved on," one said. "But you didn't. That matters." The cracks in the road were still there, the surface still rough. Nothing polished, but that was the point. The road existed before the HOA, before bylaws, before threats printed in bold. Someone recorded it, trusting the record would outlast the noise. And they were right. By the mailbox, new notices, open meetings, authority verification, plain language. Power didn't disappear, it got returned back to records, back to process, back to the people. Authority isn't something you take because nobody stops you. It's something you earn, document, and respect. I stepped onto the road, letting the morning light catch the posted order, county seal, press clean. Justice didn't show up with shouting. It showed up with records, read aloud, and a community that finally decided to pay attention. If you're still listening, here's what I want to know. Has clear documentation ever helped your community? Did standing your ground ever bring things back in balance? Share your story, because sometimes the quietest facts make the loudest difference.